Well, hey there everybody. Hey, this is episode 4 or part 4 of my DIY greenhouse build. If you missed parts 1 through 3, where part 1 I got a location and leveled the ground out. Part 2 I put the floor in, and then part 3 put the frame together, put the walls up, put the roof on, insulated. Well, I'm going to be having a link to that up above and down in the description below. So let's get to it. So before you put the windows in, you have to put your shelves in. It's really hard to try to put a shelf in and angle your drill if you're bumping up against your windows. So in order to make this a lot easier for me, I'm putting the shelves in first. And yes, I want to make it look like a greenhouse really quick and be using it, but if you don't have the shelves in already, then you're going to be doing extra work. My trays are going to fit in. Try to wedge that in a little bit. And they're at my level. I also put in this support beam right here. This support beam is going to help out a lot. I have not even bolted it down yet, but I got it nice and tight. Not only is it going to support the shelving that I'm putting in, but it's also going to keep the roof from coming down just in case we have a lot of snow. We don't get that much snow every year up here in the Pacific Northwest, Kitsap County, but we get some. So we're going to be putting the shelves in, got the support beam, and these are at my height. Make sure you put them to your height where you're most comfortable and it's the most ergonomically correct for you, because you're going to have a pot here, you're going to have a plant on top of it, you're going to want to water, trim. So this is the working level for me. Make it the working level for yourself. Once I get my plants growing a little bit and I move up, I can move up to the next level up and put my plants up here. A little high for me. I'm probably gonna have to use a step stool to do the watering up here, but this isn't until late in the winter, early in the spring. And then I also have them down on the bottom where I can put them all down on the bottom too. All right, so I put a couple extra support beams in here, and the main thing is I'm gonna have a lot of weight pushing down on these, because the plants and the dirt and the water that's in the plants, or actually the water that's in the dirt that's on the plants, is going to really be pushing down. But I also went and used some water seal on all the lumber. Anything that's going to get wet, could get wet, or is going to have a plant on top of it, it's going to have water seal. So we water sealed all the pieces here, everything around. So on this support beam is just a 2x4 that I put water seal on. But down on the bottom here, I actually put a brick. That way, if I have any water that might be standing or I splash a lot, it's going to be drier than the base concrete. The middle one, the 4x4, this one's actually treated lumber, so I don't really worry about that one having ground contact. And once again over here, same thing. Put the brick underneath. Alright. Got all the beams put in for the shelves. As you can see, the top one's a little bit off, just a hair. Hopefully it won't get wet when I'm watering my plants, but in any case, everything is water sealed. Now it's just time to put in the racks themselves. So for my other greenhouses, I was lucky enough to get my hands on a whole bunch of these oven racks. Got them from an auction for about 15 bucks. Got enough to fill a couple greenhouses. So this is pretty cool. This is a cheap alternative. But for today, and for this greenhouse that I'm doing now, I went ahead and spent some money. I went over to Lowe's and I bought 4 12-foot storage shelves. It's plastic coated metal. And these are 20-inch and 16-inch shelving. And they're both 12 foot long. Actually, all four of them are 12 foot long. So I'm going to have to take a sawzall to these, cut them down to size. Now that I got it cut out, slide it in. Perfect fit. So this rack right here will fit both my 17-inch by 17-inch flat along with my 21-inch flat with no problem at all. Be able to stack all kinds of these things in here, one right after the other, with all kinds of plants on them. Alright, shelves are in. Whew, that's a good accomplishment. That's a good milestone right there. So I'll have enough room for a lot of starts, both on the bottom level, the mid level, and the top level. Very nice, I'm happy. So here's a quick tip. If you are building a greenhouse or you're putting shelves in a greenhouse, make sure that you have enough strength here in your shelving to hold up your plants. A flat like this with 9 6-inch pots in it can weigh around 35 pounds. Not to mention, if you have some of your bigger pots in there, this is about 15 pounds right here. It's the combination of the soil along with the water that you put in. I'm going to start putting the vents in. I'm going to be putting a vent in on this side up in the top corner, put one on the other side over there, and I'll be putting one on the bottom. I haven't figured out whether I'm going to put one on this side or the other side. Probably the other side. Probably be taking it over here and putting it on the bottom because I won't be walking by it. And what that's going to do is going to allow airflow to come up, circulate, and then go back out. For the vent, I got a 1 foot by 4 foot project board or project panel, and I'll be able to make 3 vents out of this one panel. So I'll be cutting this into 15-inch lengths, measure it out, and with that 15 inches will give me just enough so that my beeswax opener will be able to properly open and shut. Let's go ahead and take this out of the bag here. Has a couple springs on it, but I'll be able to put this in so it opens and shuts the window or the vent. I also have some 1 foot piano hinge here, 1 foot piano hinge, so it's going to also be on it. Alright, use my old Black & Decker jigsaw to get myself 3 pieces, 15 inches long by 12 inches wide, because they already came 12 inches. But before I put these on or do anything else, I need to make sure I put some lacquer on them or something to seal out the moisture, because if I don't seal out the moisture, then your wood can get wet and then start warping on these, and I don't want that when it comes to my vents. I have the frames for all 3 of my vents done. They are all 11 by 13. And I also made sure that I went in with the Thompson water seal and sealed them up really good. That way if they get any moisture on them, it's not going to warp them out, expand them, get too much mold hopefully. I did run out of brackets, so I had to go over to Lowe's and pick up some other brackets. I actually like the ones I got on Amazon because they're recessed, but hey, can't really tell. Now the lacquer's dried on these, and it's time to start putting on a little bit of foam window seal. That way it'll make a nice tight seal. So take it off here. Put down a piece right on the edge. Give it a little snip. Scissors too big. So what this is going to do is going to give it someplace nice and soft to connect to, and if I do get any warping at all, the window seal here will keep it from giving too big of a gap. 17 feet of foam window seal is just enough to cover 3, and I even had some left over. So here's your key for putting in your piano hinge. You have your foam window seal here, and you want to put your piano hinge so it's just barely below that foam, so that way when the door shuts or your vent closes, it's going to push down on the foam just a little bit, make that nice tight seal. Alright, got the hinges on all 3 of them. They're ready to get mounted. So it's not too hard to mount these. Bring it up. Make sure you're on all the way around. Feel on the inside to make sure you don't have too much of a gap. Use one of your grips here. Put a grip on both sides, then I'm going to go measure it. Let's measure it, see how square I am. 2 3/4 on that side, 2 1/2 on that side. So I need to bring it down just a little bit. So I moved it a little bit, just to make it a little bit better on the fit. Put my hands in all the way around the inside to make sure that I can feel a little bit of foam. Chickens are being loud. Use the grips to put it into place. Do an extra little measure on this thing. Make sure I'm even all the way around. Now, I'm going to go ahead and drill the top in, and it should just open and shut. Pull that off. So I got 2 in. The spring-loaded beeswax opener is going to hold this against the wood. So if you can see right here, I have just a little bit of a gap because this top insulation piece is pushing out a little bit. But with the beeswax openers, this one has 2 springs on it, so it's really going to be pulling back on the door, and it's going to close this vent door something nice and tight. It isn't going to move around. It's not going to let the air in. By the way, I'm going to leave a link to these down in the descriptions below in case you want to get some. Just remember, the 2 springs are a lot better. They have a lot more force, and they'll hold your windows shut or your vent doors. So, next, installing these. So I'm not going to take too much time showing you how to put in the beeswax window opener. I will put a link up there to the video that I did on installing a beeswax opener. Main thing is take off your springs, install it, and make sure it goes open and shut nice and smooth, because if you don't, you're going to pop open your beeswax cylinder here, and this is almost as expensive as the whole unit. So please make sure it flows freely prior to putting your beeswax cylinder in. I do love how these things work. Sun's just starting to hit it, starting to expand a little bit there. Sun hasn't hit this one down here yet, so it's still closed. And if I come all the way over, this one, sun's nice and warmed it up and it's nice and open. My next step is putting a door in. So I could build a door, but I'm going to cheat a little bit on this one. I went ahead and spent the money on a brand new storm door. So these are about $150. But because my entryway, if I step back here a little bit, my entryway is only about 70 inches tall. I'm going to have to cut a little bit off this door, probably to about right here, all the way across in order to mount it. And inside it is wood in the middle here. So this is a wood cord storm door. Should hold enough insulation to keep the greenhouse warm. And then with this bottom piece here, see if I can take it out. This bottom piece, after I cut it, bottom piece will slide right in. So I knew when I was building this that I was going to have to take this siding off in order to put the door in. That's why I didn't finish off the top part of the siding or put any of the windows on, because I wanted to make sure I had the door able to be mounted. Really easy to pull the screws off of this thing, pull the siding off, and now I'm going to slide this in and put some screws back in here. Alright, so I got the door in, got the handle on. Of course the cat's checking it out. Up there I got my closer for the door. Nice and smooth. Down here keeps the air from coming in. And I'm all set. Bring you inside so you can see what else this thing will do for my greenhouse. So one of the great things about using a storm door in your greenhouse is not only if it gives you a little bit of insulation, but also has this window in it that you can bring up, hold open. This gives a lot of air into your greenhouse. It'll let the hot air go through the top vents while pulling in the cool air. On the other side I have an automatic vent opener, but on this side I didn't put one because I knew I was going to have the storm door with another window. And the hot air is going to just push out the top, bring in the cool air in, cooling down your plants, making sure you don't overheat your plants. Wonderful investment, made a lot easier by spending $150 on this door here. Also saved me a lot of time. Alright, so I got some camper seal here, and the camper seal is for when you put like a canopy on your truck and you don't want the air to go through. And I'm putting it up right in here. I'm unscrewing the top, then I'm wedging it in just a little bit, coming all the way across. And then I'm taking my stapler and putting some staples in. Oh, that one's out. Grab my other stapler, putting some staples in underneath, and then going back up on top. Oops, put it forward and screwing these back in. So just like before, I got the camper seal. Going to be putting the camper seal on here. If I have to, I don't want to, but if I have to, I'll throw a staple or two in here to hold it up. Once I put the panels in, I use the screws. It'll hold it just fine and dandy. But the stickiness isn't that great on these. So let's go ahead and knock it out. And just in case you were wondering, I'm only 2.5 feet off the ground. All right, got these on. Now I'm going to go get a panel. These are very lightweight, one-handed. They have film on them. Got to take the film off first before you can mount them up. Hopefully the film doesn't stick too bad. Bought them several months ago when they were on sale, but we'll see. Lots of static in this. I can feel my arms going up. Hair on the arms crawling up. Fit that in. Almost got it. Grip it down. So I realized my screws are too short. I'm using 1-inch screws. I need at least 1.5, if not 2-inch screws for this thing. So off to Lowe's again. All right, went to Lowe's, got some new screws. I got 1.5 inches compared to 1 inch. That's gonna bite a lot better into the wood and hold in the panels. I will bring you back in once I got my front panels done, and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, we got 4 panels in, ready to do the sides. Down on the bottom, put a little bit more of that insulation. I'll cut that away a little bit later. And I came close to being perfectly square. Just got a little bit here. Bring it in. Then I'm just over on that side and a little under down, or actually it's just perfect down here, but the top just a little bit over. So wanted to show you something really quick. I do not have the windows or the greenhouse plastic on the sides yet, but if I zoom in here, it is 104 degrees inside this greenhouse right now, almost 105, 104.7. Outside temperature is only about 75. So the greenhouse is working for the heat. I'm gonna have to put some fans in here a little bit later. So I got done putting one of the panels on the side. And if you notice, right here, I'm gonna get real close to this, right in this area, you have these little holes from where you cut the greenhouse. You also get it in the top and bottom. So you want to keep water out of there for the most part. If you don't keep water out of your windows in between the 3mm holes here, you're going to get a lot of discoloration. Now this is a very old greenhouse, but you'll get a lot of discoloration in your greenhouse walls. And you can see it's actually on the inside. So that's going to block some light. In order to combat that, I'm going to be putting on some flashing. And it's going to go right here. Now in order to put the flashing on, I'm going to unscrew some of these. And then put it in and tighten it back down again. The rest of the screws going around the rest of it will hold it into place while I do this. So one additional thing I'm doing is I'm putting some more of this camper insulation on the glass itself, or on the plastic itself, but the greenhouse glass. That way when I put the flashing on, it's going to give it a little bit extra insulation, keep the wind from blowing in, because we get wind coming in different directions, and it can try to push the water in. Also, it can push some cold air in the winter time. Well, that's 4 screws that have dropped so far. Okay, so it's pretty early in the morning. It's about 50 degrees outside here. Wanted to get some filming done before the sun comes and reflects off of the greenhouse panels here. But I got it pretty much all done. I could actually start growing in here. Just need to do a little bit of heating and cooling for the greenhouse. For the most part, this thing's ready to go. I'm going to take you around, give you a nice GoPro shot of the whole thing all the way around, and then tell you what's coming up next. First off, I want to thank Cyrus for some wood chips. Come on around here. As you can see, we're already getting glare off of the greenhouse panels. And got my 2 vent openers right here, and they are closed because it's cold. Come back around. Here's a side view. Show you the top up there. A little bit of flashing going across the top. Walking nice and smooth for you. Trying to anyway. I've been known in the past to get people a little bit dizzy with my videos. And here's the back side. Let's go on in. So here's the inside of the greenhouse. My buddy Rick hooked me up with some flats. These are a lot stronger than your normal garden flats. But we're ready to do some gardening in here. Shelves are in. Insulation says 59 right now. There we go, 59 inside here. So even without any heat sink, I got the floor doing a heat sink. So that's pretty good because it's about 8 degrees warmer inside the greenhouse than it is outside. And the sun hasn't even hit it yet. And when the sun hits it, this thermometer here is going to get up to around 110, 115 degrees. So I got to put in some cooling also along with the heating. So that'll be the next video. Down below here, I have my little platform. And I'm going to have enough room, whoops. I'm going to have enough room to slide these big flats down here. So I have the flats going across all the way. These are the perfect size to fit right there. So I'm excited. Thanks again, Rick. And if you want a close-up of what I did the window with, here you go. Tough X multi-wall. So you can order these from Lowe's, have them shipped them to Lowe's. It'll be a lot cheaper than trying to buy them on Amazon, especially the 4x8s. All right, the greenhouse is mostly done. There's one more thing I'm going to have to do before I can start really using this as a greenhouse, and that is heating and cooling. Heating wise, the floor's doing a pretty good job holding in some heat. It's about 10 degrees above ambient temperature inside here, or outside ambient temperature. And I'm going to have to put in a couple water tanks in here and actually get a heat sink going in here. That way I can keep it a little bit warmer. Otherwise I'm going to have to bring power out or a buddy heater to heat up this area. So that's going to be on my next video, along with some cooling. Sun's not up. Once it comes up, it's supposed to be 80 degrees outside today. So this thing is going to get hot. This thing's going to get to about 115, 120 degrees. If I didn't have my automatic vents in here, then this could be 135, 140 degrees. It would kill the plants instantly. They just die. So don't want to kill the plants. So I'm going to have to put a little bit more airflow in here. And then I'm going to have to put my heat sink in here to keep it warmer and to let it get cooler, because heating and cooling is very important in your greenhouse. but that's for the next video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That way you'll know when I'm putting in my heatsink video. Give me a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Happy gardening and have a great day.